Okay, values and dating pools. This is something which I've been like, you know, hearing from lots of people lately. People have been losing hope, um, on finding someone who's right for them or finding someone who has enough like morals or like values to align with them. And I feel like, yeah, people in general are just losing hope regards to finding someone who would be right for them. And I don't know. It seems it's very understandable because I've felt that myself for a while too. Especially when you've gone through, bad experiences or you're surrounded by people who aren't really aligned with you. Not even in a romantic sense, just in general. Or they don't even have to be in your circle. People who you just see around. Like for me, for example, I'm in college and I hear stories about people who I thought were somewhat fine, and it kind of like shifts my whole idea of them, right? And these aren't just rumors or whatever; it's things which are actually happening. So yeah, when you really trust the image or identity of someone, or just assume the best of them, and then it kind of changes, based on what they've done, it's quite easy to just assume that most of the people who seem trustworthy aren't. And it's super easy to fall into that, like, pit of just despair and just hopelessness. Like, I was talking to, like, a classmate, for example, like, recently, and he was telling me that, like, oh man, like, all the girls are like this, man. Like, I don't think it's not like back then anymore, though he has no clue what it was like back then either. And yeah, he was like, I don't think I'm going to find anyone who's like me, and I'll have to just settle for someone who's somewhat okay. And I'm like, that does not make sense. Like, why would you put yourself through that, right? Um, it's just wrong to do that to yourself. And yeah, like it's it's convenient as well for someone to think that way. Like for someone to believe that the whole world is just like doomed and there's nothing good happening. It's quite, you know, it's it's much closer to like black and white thinking, right? Like you can just assume that everything is a certain way instead of seeing that the world's like a gray area, and that so many different people like having different morals and values exist. And it's really about just choosing the people who are right for you, not even just like romantically, even like friendship wise, just choosing someone who not only aligns with what you do or what you want to be doing, but they're just there for you and they just show up in the way you want them to. Sometimes you can share the same interests, you can play the same games or watch the same movies as someone, but if it doesn't really align and if you don't really, you know, feel like you guys have actual love for each other or tolerance for the differences, then I don't think it's going to really work out, or it's not even going to last that long because you aren't really comfortable with each other in the true sense. And yeah, even consuming content, like it's super easy. Like apps like Instagram or Facebook, they get super adapted to your algorithm, right? Like the algorithms get super adapted to your interests or whatever you're watching or talking about. And when you start talking about like or like the people like girls or guys, they've been super everyone right now has no morals or no values, they're going to feed you super red pill content creators who enforce that thought in your mind. And you get content of people doing terrible things to each other, of people betraying each other, celebrities, cheating on each other. And that and further like reinforces what you thought of um what you thought of the opposite gender, right? And yeah, I feel like it is true that it's difficult these days to find someone who actually aligns with you, especially if you're super specific with like how you would want their morals or how you would want their priorities to be. But that doesn't make it impossible, and it's no reason for you to feel hopeless. And yeah, um that's pretty much it. I just wanted to really talk about this because it's something which we all do occasionally, and we don't really realize how much it affects the chances of us actually reaching that place where we want to be, or finding the person who we want to be with. And yeah, that's pretty much it.